This is a world shrouded by monsters from another dimension. In just 1 month, over 1 billion people have been wiped out globally. In the nick of time, a girl with extraordinary powers appeared. Pushed to the brink, humanity finally began to fight back. To stop the monsters swarming out of the gates, humanity started training hunters. They developed Doomsday City, a 1 versus 1,000 survival game. Players must not only be the last one standing in a 1,000-man slaughter, but also stay alert for boss-level monsters that spawn at random. As for this man named Kwon Jin-Soo, he is undefeated in 5,000 matches. With just himself and a blade, he carries every game and secures the win. The players he has decimated call him the Avatar of Death, the unknown, but there are always fools who think they can break the myth. Raymond peered through his binoculars. He is finally here. The big guy gripped his Gatling gun, itching for some action. The man in the suit shouted that today, even if the King of Hell showed up, he would still have to get down on his knees. Meanwhile, Jin-Soo walked forward with a fearless, steady stride. When the distance was less than 100 meters, they opened fire all at once. In the next second, the bullets were sliced in half at a speed invisible to the naked eye. Seeing the shots miss, the man in the suit panicked. He hurriedly signaled for them to unleash their ultimate AoE skills. Raymond leaped into the air, immense energy flickering like lightning in his hands. Then a bolt of lightning as thick as a barrel blasted toward Jin-Soo. The two looked at the silent bridge with confusion. Before they could react, terror filled their faces. Their throats were slit in a single flash. The sniper hiding on the heights saw a figure flicker in, and nearly jumped out of his skin. Like he would seen a ghost, he wailed, "You psycho, stay away from me." The battle lasted barely 10 seconds. All 4 of them were eliminated instantly. On another part of the battlefield, the fighting was fierce. A camper saw everyone's health was low, and jumped out to steal the kills. He immediately unleashed a wide-range skill to harvest the souls. Just as he was gloating about winning the game, a dark shadow loomed over him. In an instant, he was trampled into dust. A boss-level monster had actually appeared before them. Everyone was terrified and scrambled to escape. The scarred man, who had been hiding for points, could not hold back anymore. Now was the perfect chance to rack up some kills. With an excited look, he told the girl next to him to support him with a shield while he showed off his manly power. He struck a pose that looked like he was suffering from extreme constipation. Absurdly, a blast from his rear actually launched him into the sky. Mid-air, energy kept surging through his arms. He screamed, "Incoming, little flying stick." The entire building collapsed in a violent explosion. Thick smoke blanketed half the city. Gotta admit, that was pretty powerful. The sexy girl approached, shyly praising her big brother for being so great. She did not expect that when he turned around. There would be a massive hole right through his chest. She thought she would hitch a ride with a pro to rank up, but now he was deader than a doornail. Suddenly realizing something was wrong, she whipped her head around. In the distance, a pitch-black sniper rifle was locked onto her. Instinctively, she activated her invincible shield. She thought she could block the damage, but the massive impact shot right through it. However, David, who had just taken them out, still looked grim, because the last man, Jin-Soo, had appeared in his sights. He had to take his shot before he was spotted. As long as he caught him off guard, it would be a one-shot kill. Thinking this, David pulled the trigger without hesitation. But in the next second, his heart skipped a beat. The only word for it was holy crap. Jin-Soo calmly flicked his hand, slicing the incoming bullet in half. David saw that he was only holding a melee dagger. He planned to use the distance advantage to keep sniping, but Jin-Soo did not give him the chance. With a backhand flick, he hurled the dagger. To David's utter disbelief, the dagger shattered his rifle and struck him right in the eye. And so, this match, ending with David's agonizing screams, "I can't even afford a single pumpkin. All because my sister contracted a rare, mysterious illness. Whenever it flares up, it attracts terrifying monsters. Ever since Judgment Day, some awakened special abilities and gained a new life, but many others lost everything because of it. The most fatal case is Mana Rampage. The mortality rate is 100%. One can only survive on lifelong medication, but this medicine is insanely expensive. Eventually, most people are forced to give up treatment to keep my sister alive." Kwon Jin-Soo has been grinding in games to earn money. While he was deep in thought, a sudden commotion broke out behind him. The big screen news report is flashing. A gate has appeared at No Ryang Jin High School. Jin-Soo breaks into a cold sweat. That is exactly where my sister, Kwon Soo-ah, goes to school. In the next second, he vanished into thin air, racing toward the school at full throttle. He is so fast the animator could not even keep up. Meanwhile, most people at the school have already been slaughtered. Those trying to flee are being snapped up by monsters. Hiding behind a door, Soo-ah witnesses this brutal scene. She does not dare make a single sound, but a werewolf catches her scent and howls at her like crazy. It starts throwing its body against the main door desperately. Before long, the massive impact shatters the glass on the door into a million pieces. Then, a hideous contorted wolf head pokes through, staring at the monster right in front of her. Soo-ah's legs go weak with terror. Just then, her friend nearby shouts for her to run over. Snapping back to reality, reality, Soo-ah turns and runs for her life toward the exit. Everyone thought they had finally escaped the gate zone, but in the next second, horror washes over their faces. Sharp claws suddenly extend from the wall around the corner. Behind the mountain, a hunter squad that arrived early is quietly watching everything happening at the school. Ever since his father started treating him like absolute trash, he has not spent a single moment not wanting to prove his worth. When the dungeon reaches full activation, a boss-level monster will appear. If I can just take it down, I can finally stop being a useless failure in my father's eyes. But Dong Young, standing beside him, looks terrified. That is a C-rank boss. It is way too risky for just the four of us. The young master is visibly displeased by his questioning. He presses him, offended that he would dare to look down on him. Before this young master, Dong Young can only swallow his anger. At that moment, the quiet gate erupts with a thunderous roar. Seeing this, he smirks. It is finally starting. Full of excitement, he leads his team toward the school. However, the school has already turned into a living hell. In the midst of the monster's hunt, the survivors are few and far between. Just as the three of them are about to be torn apart, the fashionably late hunter squad finally makes their move. Dong Young, who has been holding back, lunges forward like a bolt. In an instant, he cleaves a nearby werewolf in half. The rest of the team follows suit, launching a barrage of attacks. In no time, they wipe out all the surrounding werewolves. The students, seeing hunters in action for the first time, are all filled with pure admiration. But Soo-ah feels something strangely familiar about them. It turns out that during the escape, the profession of monster hunter was born among humans. They spend their years slaying giant beasts across the globe, all to protect the last sanctuary of humanity. But there are always hunters who use humans as bait for fame and fortune. And this man, just to change his trash image in his father's heart, doesn't hesitate to sacrifice every student in this academy. His goal is to lure out the boss monster and kill it. He plans to use this feat to make headlines and become a hero in the eyes of the masses. However, this sinister plan was already clear as day to Soo-ah. The teacher nearby looks grim, trying to call for help. But strangely, no matter what, they can't get a signal through. Jang Woo-hyuk notices this and furrows his brow. A cold voice warns that the gate has now gone berserk. The signal is being cut off. If you want to get out alive, we must take down the boss monster. Hearing this, the students immediately fell into a panic. Isn't this just like lambs to the slaughter? We're just going there to die. Jang Woo-hyuk, however, spoke with total disdain. Fine, and just stay here and wait for your end. Seeing him turn around to leave, in order to save more students, the teacher hastily agreed to follow along. But Kwon Soo-ah looked tense. She grabbed the teacher, insisting they could not go with them. Looking at the usually well-behaved student, the teacher was completely bewildered. She explained that while they were running earlier, she accidentally saw these people. They clearly could have saved us long ago, but they just stood there and did absolutely nothing. After hearing this, everyone began to question the hunter's despicable behavior. Their dirty tactics were being called out. Seeing that his scheme was exposed, Jang Woo-hyuk's eyes turned cold, planning to silence them for good. Just as he was about to strike, a large pack of werewolves suddenly swarmed the area. In the heat of the moment, he had to stop and deal with the immediate crisis first. For some reason, Kwon Soo-ah suddenly collapsed on the spot. It turned out that because the gate went berserk, the mana inside her body had also erupted. The students who knew her condition urged the teacher to find the medicine in Soo-ah's backpack. The teacher hurriedly opened the bag. After rummaging through it, she quickly found a medicine bottle. Jang Woo-hyuk noticed it was a mana suppressant produced by his own family. He immediately understood the situation. It is because this girl started going berserk that the monsters are swarming here like bees to honey. He instantly decided to use Soo-ah's berserk mana to lure out the boss monster. He ordered Dong Young nearby to go and snatch the medicine. Now that our cover is blown, put away that pathetic pity of yours. He then shoved the reluctant man forward. At that moment, the teacher, who was about to hand over the medicine, had her arm slashed by a blade. The medicine bottle falling through the air was instantly caught by Jang Woo-hyuk. The surrounding people were filled with horror at the sight. They tried to flee, but the woman behind him immediately cast a binding spell. In the next second, everyone was frozen firmly in place. Jang Woo-hyuk leaned in with a sinister smirk. Hey brat, being a hero is not that easy, you know. As soon as he finished speaking, the gate in the sky let out a violent roar. A massive werewolf beast lunged out in a flash. Meanwhile, in the crowd outside the school, a figure rapidly vanished. The giant werewolf king opened its maw, just as its bloody jaws were about to bite down on Soo-ah. A shadow pounced toward it at lightning speed. In an instant, he was right in front of the werewolf king. Thud! A dagger slashed across the werewolf king's body. Jang Woo-hyuk's face was filled with shock. Who on earth is this kid? Staring at the silhouette in the smoke, Jang Woo-hyuk was full of questions. At this moment, Kwon Jin-Soo looked at the werewolf king before him, his eyes overflowing with killing intent. He slammed his feet against the ground, leaping high into the air, and stabbed directly into the werewolf king's brow. The massive werewolf king let out a great roar, and collapsed to the ground. "Soo-ah, I am here. Hang in there. Soo-ah's medicine is about to be stolen by those people. They are using Soo-ah as bait," the teacher said tremblingly, clutching her wounded arm. Kwon Jin-Soo whipped his head around, glaring at the ruins in front of him. "Show yourselves. Just how fast is this man's speed?" Jang Woo-hyuk walked out from the debris. Looking at Kwon Jin-Soo, he was still incredibly arrogant. "What a stroke of bad luck. Are you from the Hunters Guild?" Kwon Jin-Soo did not answer his question. "It is in your hands. I was the one who asked first, was not I? If you want an answer, then hurry up and answer mine first. You are all just a bunch of scumbags. A bunch of so-called hunters using people as bait. Pathetic. You are asking for death." Jang Woo-hyuk's expression shifted instantly. He flew into a violent rage. "Boss, do not do anything rash yet. We need to confirm his identity first. Right here. You are the one trying to snatch it away. The pain Soo-ah had to endure. I will pay you back 100-fold. Until you are begging for mercy." "Oh, really? Then let us see you try, tough guy." Before Jang Woo-hyuk could even react, Kwon Jin-Soo lunged at him with explosive force, leaving several afterimages in the air. Jang Woo-hyuk's face went pale. Skill Stone Skin activate. Stone Skin is an instantaneous skill that coats the entire body in solid rock. "Bring it on, brat. I am going to crush every bone in your body. I do not care how fast you move. Once I track your position, you are dead meat. Where the hell are you? You can't run, kid." Just as Jang Woo-hyuk's fist was about to strike, Kwon Jin-Soo remained completely calm. Causality-reversal, an invincible passive skill that transcends the laws of physics. It can reverse the very law of cause and effect regarding death. It can only be used 13 times a day. Jang Woo-hyuk's fist touched Kwon Jin-Soo, but in the next second, Jin-Soo had already dodged it. Jang Woo-hyuk's head was spinning. How did I miss?" Kwon Jin-Soo found the perfect opening. He plunged his blade into Jang Woo-hyuk's abdomen. Jang Woo-hyuk's face was a mask of pure shock. "A mere rookie dared to wound me, Captain." His lackeys tried to rush in for support, but they were already too late. Kwon Jin-Soo pinned Jang Woo-hyuk down by the neck, pressing a dagger against his throat. "Freeze, one more step and his head is coming off." "Fine, I won't come any closer." He easily subdued a captain of a higher rank. "Who on earth is this guy? Keep struggling if you have got a death wish." "Captain." The squad members were visibly worried. "No, I just let my guard down for a second. I will break free in a moment." Before Jang Woo-hyuk could act, Kwon Jin-Soo applied sudden brutal force. Jang Woo-hyuk instantly went limp. Kwon Jin-Soo kicked him away like trash. Then he planted his foot firmly on his chest. "You people are truly beyond forgiveness. Using humans as bait. You are sick. Do you have any idea who I am? I do not care if you are the son of the Reaper himself. I am not letting you off. If you let me go, the first group will reward you handsomely." How laughable. It seems you really are not just some ordinary scumbag hunter. Kwon Jin-Soo gave a light flick of his hand. Soo-ah's restraints were instantly severed. He tossed something over to her. "Quick, give this to Soo-ah." "Okay." After taking it, Soo-ah slowly began to recover. Kwon Jin-Soo threw a knife onto the ground. "Go and cut the ropes off the other students." "Soo-ah, you all need to get out of here immediately. Your little scheme has gone up in smoke. You rich brat, your time is up. As long as I can get out of here, I will make sure you beg for a life. You can't even dream of escaping through death." Laughable. HMPH. How truly pathetic. Jang Woo-hyuk suddenly lashed out, breaking free from his restraints. "You think you have won. Today is the day you die. Dong-young, hurry up and destroy the energy core." Damn it. Hey. Wham. Haha. Lie. You are asking for death. Oh. Goodness. God. Damn it. My voice is fading. Lost. In the mountains. Far. Away. Ah. Ha. Arg. SR. Wait. No. Listen. You. I am begging you. You have to take the bait. Target. Acquired. Day 1. Danger. Level. Increasing. Move. Protocol 002. If it were not for us. If we did not exist, you would be. Ha, yes. Up. Rat-tat-tat. Busted. Checkmate. It is over. This man rules the game world like a god. But no one knows his true strength in reality. Just a moment ago, the protagonist, Kwon Jin-Soo, stood before the machine to test his hunter rank. With a low hum, the screen showed that the 6th rank no longer belonged to Baek Jin-Hoo. The crowd gasped in disbelief, unable to process what they saw. Even Baek Jin-Hoo stared at the screen in shock. Every organization was frantically scrambling to find any information on the new number 1, fearing they might lose such a prize to a rival. However, the official had already encrypted and locked the data. Baek Jin-Hoo suspected he had already signed with someone else, but he still reported the situation to his superiors. Inside a certain office, I.M. Da-yeon saw the report. Kwon Jin-Soo's hunter test revealed he was an AA rank unbound. She could no longer maintain her composure. Even while stirring her coffee, she kept worrying if Kwon Jin-Soo would be headhunted by others. Just as she tried to steal a glance at Kwon Jin-Soo, Jin-Soo spoke up, asking if the coffee was ready. The sudden voice gave I.M. Da-yeon quite a fright. She then asked, Mr. Kwon, does our previous agreement regarding the contract still stand? Kwon Jin-Soo calmly replied, are you suggesting that I might go back on my word? I.M. Da-yeon was startled once again. With a reluctant expression, she said, of course not. We will respect your wishes. Kwon Jin-Soo let out a smug smirk. Then he turned to I.M. Da-yeon and said, if I join a guild, I will have no free time left. I agree to join the hunter branch instead. I.M. Da-yeon stood up, overwhelmed with excitement. She grabbed Kwon Jin-Soo's hand in a death grip. Jin-Soo had spent his days holed up in the game world. He had zero experience with girls. Suddenly, he began to feel incredibly bashful. A short while later, she returned carrying a white capsule. Let us finalize the contract. Seeing Jin-Soo's confused expression, I.M. Da-yeon explained that this was a specialized hunter biochip. Once swallowed, it integrates all your physical stats. Then it sends that data directly to your phone. It records your hunter rank and various other information. It acts as an ID card and can even translate foreign languages. She mentioned she could not have one implanted herself for certain reasons. After Jin-Soo swallowed the chip, he was about to check his phone for confirmation, but a system panel suddenly materialized in front of him. He thought, didn't she say it would be sent to my phone? I.M. Da-yeon saw him acting strangely, and could not help but ask, are there mosquitoes in here? I could not have given you the wrong pill, right? Jin-Soo wondered if he was the only one who could see this. This meant the choice he was about to make was vital. Just by taking one capsule, this man had unlocked a literal cheat code. He even hesitated for a second before choosing to proceed. As he looked at the panel, he discovered he actually possessed 4 innate abilities. Most people only ever get 1, even though 2 of them were not activated yet. In short, he was absolutely cracked. After dismissing the system panel, Kwon Jin-Soo asked I.M. Da-yeon for his phone. He wanted to check his public info. He realized the phone did not show everything. He thought to himself, it seems the system only wants me to know about the unbound awakening. I.M. Da-yeon checked the phone and offered her congratulations. Success. Congratulations, you are now officially a hunter. She then pulled out the formal contract. Kwon Jin-Soo gave it a quick look. The moment he finished signing, she snatched it back. She was terrified he might have second thoughts. I.M. Da-yeon suggested that Jin-Soo should head to a low-level dungeon first, to gain some experience. Once he left, a huge weight was lifted off I.M. Da-yeon's shoulders. She rushed to the branch manager's office to report her success. Just as she reached the door, she felt an overwhelming, powerful aura from inside. Could someone be here to poach Mr. Kwon? Before she could think further, the person inside stepped out and grabbed her briefcase. It was a fierce-looking man with blonde hair. Terrified, she scrambled to pull it back and protect it. The blonde man impatiently told her to get lost. I.M. Da-yeon wanted to talk back, but was stopped by the branch manager inside. Before the blonde man left, he gave I.M. Da-yeon a menacing glare. The branch manager told her the man was from Europe. He was there to ask the Korean branch for some assistance. I.M. Da-yeon wanted to pry further, but the manager simply said, this does not concern you. He then asked about Kwon Jin-Soo. I.M. Da-yeon pulled out the contract and said proudly, the contract is already signed. She received a heap of praise from the branch manager. After Jin-Soo left, he headed to a nearby training ground. He planned to test his innate abilities. The man activated his cheat code after taking the capsule, but he did not expect a black soot ball with bright red lips. Just a moment ago, after Jin-Soo said goodbye to I.M. Da-yeon, he headed to the training room alone. Returning, He saw the receptionist dozing off and woke him up apologetically. The receptionist gasped in surprise. "Manager, I was not sleeping." She only snapped out of it after seeing who had walked in. She sized up Kwon Jin-Soo's outfit. She said coldly, "Hunter public rooms are $55 an hour. Show me your Hunter ID." Kwon Jin-Soo slammed several bills onto the desk. "Give me a private room, the $2,600 one." The receptionist thought to herself, who uses cash these days? Is he just flexing? That was until she saw Kwon Jin-Soo's Hunter information. His rank was the highest, AA rank. She instantly flipped into customer service mode. "Are you Mr. Kwon Jin-Soo from the Hunter branch?" Kwon Jin-Soo gave a curt nod and asked for his room number. He then ignored her and walked away. Arriving at the training room, Jin-Soo marveled, "This is spectacular. No wonder it is so expensive." Jin-Soo walked up to the machine. He set the opponents to 30F rank goblins. After all, he was only here to test his skills. With a press of the confirm button, as the command was finalized, the machine whirred to life. Following the activation, the ceiling lights flickered on. Goblins began to materialize one by one. Holographic simulation, F-rank goblins. Skill, poison needle launch. Jin-Soo drew his two trusty daggers. He parried the poison needles spat by the goblins. Then he charged straight at them. The poison needles could not even graze him. He dove into the pack, unleashing a whirlwind of carnage. After wiping them out, he checked the time, 1 minute and 50 seconds. "Now, time to test my innate ability." He immediately activated Lucky Dice. Boom! A rift tore open in the air above. What emerged was a giant hourglass. Without a word, it came crashing down toward Jin-Soo. Jin-Soo evaded it with a backflip. What on earth is this? A monster, then. A black sphere with nothing but a pair of bright red lips popped out of nowhere, calling me a monster. How hurtful. "I am your innate ability. More importantly." Before it could finish, it transformed into dark tentacles, wrapping themselves around Jin-Soo. When Jin-Soo used his innate ability, this talking black sphere appeared. And now, he was being held tightly by the sphere's tentacles. However, it was not trying to hurt him. One end of it turned into an arrow pointing at the hourglass. It told Jin-Soo that once the hourglass ran out, it would no longer be able to maintain a physical form. It told him not to waste time and to listen carefully to the skill introduction. But Jin-Soo did not play by the rules. The hourglass is huge. There should be plenty of time, right? After a bit of banter, it explained that Lucky Dice consumes points to randomly draw an innate ability. If you want a powerful ability, you need to spend more points. And points are earned by completing the tasks it assigns. The difficulty level determines the amount of points rewarded. The system panel immediately displayed. First quest, clear an F-rank dungeon within 24 hours. Finally, the sootball said, "You can call me if you need anything. My name is Ipu." Elsewhere, several trucks were parked outside a skyscraper. Sitting inside one of the vehicles was Jang Woo-hyuk, the eldest son of the first group. He and some armed troops were clearly plotting something. The truck was making a lot of noise. There must be some kind of living creature inside. Jang Woo-hyuk got out of the car and gave a quick order. The strike team hidden in the truck rushed into the building one after another. A few security guards were still chatting away casually. They were immediately restrained by the armed personnel. Jang Woo-hyuk walked in, clutching a blade. He threatened one of the guards. "If you want to keep your life, hand over everything from a few days ago. I want all the data on the survivors from the high school gate incident." The nurse had no choice but to comply. She trembled in front of the computer while searching for the information. Once it was found, Jang Woo-hyuk pushed her aside. "Now, beat it." He stepped forward to check the screen. He looked quite frustrated. "Damn it, Hwan-Soo-ah was already transferred last night. She is at the Hunter branch. This guy is absolute scum." To cover their tracks, he is actually going to feed the nurse to the monster. Jang Woo-hyuk's face darkened with irritation, because he just realized his target had already been moved from the hospital. He wanted to take his anger out on the nurse nearby. He thought about it, but decided against it for now. She might still be useful later. He immediately signaled the team leader. The leader acknowledged and spoke into the walkie-talkie. "Open it up." After the container was opened, a monster resembling a giant toad slowly crawled out. It shot out a tongue several meters long. It bypassed the armed men and stretched right toward the nurse. Before she could react, it wrapped around her head. She was dragged into the air, screaming helplessly, and was swallowed in one gulp. No one in the entire building was spared. Jang Woo-hyuk acted like nothing happened and ordered a retreat. The next day, Kwon Jin-Soo saw the news report. His sister's former hospital was attacked by a C-rank monster. Kwon Jin-Soo was consumed with rage. Those bastards actually dared to target a hospital. It is a good thing I moved Soo-ah ahead of time. I really want to take them out right now, to protect people. But I can't afford to be reckless. I need to increase my strength further. Kwon Jin-Soo then pulled out his phone. He logged into the hunter app Da Yian mentioned. Sure enough, he found a suitable dungeon to enter. The F-rank orc dungeon at Bukhansan. Since the Day of Judgment, hundreds of thousands of orcs have established fortresses around Bukhansan. They claimed the mountains as their kingdom. Not long after hunters awakened, the counter-offensive began. Only a small number of orcs survived, hiding in the caves. After saying goodbye to Jin-Soo set out. Upon arriving at Bukhansan, he realized he was late. Luckily, a middle-aged man on the hill recognized him. The man called out to him. This was the leader of the team, Lee Sang-woo. After confirming his identity, Jin-Soo introduced himself, saying it was his first time in a dungeon. He mentioned he only became a hunter yesterday. He just joined the ranks yesterday. I just became a hunter yesterday. I am a complete rookie as of yesterday. He told them he could back out if they were not comfortable with that. But Lee Sang-woo just grabbed his arm and laughed. This dungeon was meant for newbies to practice anyway. Just do not walk at the very front when we go in. Leave the dangerous spots to us. A girl carrying a large sniper rifle walked up behind them. She told Lee Sang-woo that they were all ready. The captain introduced her as the team sniper, Lee Ya-young. He introduced her as Lee Ya-young, their designated sniper. Then he let the others head in first. He took Jin-Soo aside to get some gear. Mr. Kwon, please follow me. They walked to the back of an SUV and opened the trunk. They headed to the back of the vehicle. They went to the back of the SUV and popped the trunk open. A vast array of firearms comes into view. This is Kwon Jin-Soo's first time entering the dungeon. Will everything go smoothly for him? 32 years ago, numerous giant spheres of light appeared on Earth. They were known as gates. Various monsters began crawling out from the rifts. In just 1 month, these monsters slaughtered over 1 billion humans. Cities were left in utter ruin. To fight back against these monsters, awakened individuals with special abilities began to emerge among humans. With the rise of the awakened, humanity finally gained the means to launch a counteroffensive. To train these awakened individuals, a simulation was created. A game world identical to reality, called Doomsday City. Several years have passed since then. Some cities have been rebuilt. A new round of the game is about to begin. 5 minutes before the broadcast, all players enter the waiting room. Many are breathing a sigh of relief that they are not in this match, because Unknown is participating in this round. Unknown is ranked number 1 among 3 billion players, across more than 5,000 game matches. In over 5,000 matches, he has created an undefeated legend. Inside the game, a few low-level players are camping on top of a skyscraper as usual. While they are chatting away, they notice someone approaching. The newcomer is none other than Unknown. He is dressed in casual clothes. Wearing a hoodie, he slowly walks toward them. The moment they realize it is Unknown, they immediately go on high alert. They act tough with their words, but they are actually scared to death. They unleash all their firepower. Machine guns, submachine guns, sniper rifles, and lightning magic are all aimed at Unknown. Unknown remains expressionless. With quick slashes, he cuts through all the bullets. With one step, he vanishes from the spot. While the two are stunned, a cold flash of light gleams. The blonde's throat has already been slit. In an instant, the big guy in red, along with his Gatling gun, are sliced in half. The woman in the dress tries to cast magic again, but the next second, she is already kneeling on the ground. The man in yellow with the backpack does not escape his fate either. Unknown. This is a battle royale with no player limit. Rank D. There are not only various weapons, but also all kinds of magic. Monsters even spawn out of nowhere. Somewhere else, 2 low-level players are in the middle of a fierce trade. Suddenly, a purple-haired man jumps down from above. Controlling lightning, he blows their heads off instantly. The purple-haired man barely had time to celebrate his double kill before a sudden monster pins him to the ground. Seeing this, the others flee in panic. On the other side, a massive bald guy and a pink-haired girl see the crowd being chased by monsters. They intend to move in and steal the kills. The bald guy charges up, leaps into the air, and fires a massive shockwave. After the explosion, the smoke clears. The pink-haired girl walks toward the bald man with a victorious expression. She is busy posing and acting smug, completely unaware that the bald man has already been taken out. Just as she realizes something is wrong, a gunshot rings out. She immediately turns around to activate her defense. However, it is useless, and she is eliminated instantly. On a skyscraper, in another area, after the sniper deals with those two, he begins searching for the final player. He sees Unknown walking out from behind a wall. I was startled. At first, I was worried that attacking him would blow my cover. But considering we are 2,000 meters apart, I decided to take the shot. The fingers of Unknown casually rummaged through his pockets. Then in a flash, he sliced the bullet in half, sending it flying. He had also pinpointed the sniper's location. Toying with the dagger, he hurled it toward the target. Just as the sniper breathed a sigh of relief, seeing it was only a dagger. The blade was already in front of his face. It sliced through his sniper rifle and headed straight for his head. Shortly after, the announcement echoed. Game over. The winner is player unknown. Kwon Jin-Soo opened his eyes and sat up from the gaming capsule. He scratched his head helplessly, because he did not encounter the player he was looking for. The player he truly wanted to face in the game. After all, testing his skills against that person was the only reason he kept playing this game. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. "Brother, it is me. Open up, quick." Kwon Jin-Soo panicked instantly. He scrambled to open the door. She glared at her brother. "You have not been pulling another all-nighter gaming, have you?" The visitor was Kwon Jin-Soo's sister, Kwon Soo-ah. This man is literally ranked #1 in the world, yet he spends all day cooped up in a virtual world, drowning in debt. It is all because their parents passed away, and his sister is suffering from an incurable disease. Jin-Soo had just finished an all-night gaming session. His sister Kwon Soo-ah brought him some food. They chatted about everyday things. Kwon Jin-Soo suddenly asked Soo-ah, "You still have your medicine, right?" Kwon Soo-ah was slightly startled. She hesitated, saying she had a week's supply left. She repeated that she had enough for one more week. Then she prepared to head to school. "I am heading out now. Remember to clean up your room." Right after Kwon Soo-ah left, Jin-Soo's phone buzzed with a debt repayment notice. Ever since Judgment Day, Kwon Jin-Soo lost both his parents, and his sister developed magic rampage, a disease with a 100% mortality rate. To afford the suppressants to keep the rampage at bay, Kwon Jin-Soo has been gaming non-stop to earn medical fees. Actually, he thought about becoming a hunter. He could earn much more money that way, but he did not want his sister to worry, and he feared an accident might take him away from her forever. Inside the Disaster Management Command Center, they had just successfully neutralized a portal. A gate was just destroyed. Everyone was cheering. After confirming there were no casualties, their captain was about to step out for some fresh air. Suddenly, an anomaly appeared on the screen. A gate has opened. Although it is only C rank, it appeared right inside a high school. Meanwhile, Kwon Soo-ah had just finished a class. She was about to go to the snack bar with her friends. Suddenly, she felt the building tremble. Emergency announcement: a gate has appeared on the school field. Everyone, please evacuate to the auditorium immediately. The students scrambled downstairs for their lives. Kwon Jin-Soo was still fussing over buying a pumpkin. Suddenly, he heard a commotion nearby. A gate actually opened inside a school. This is bad. Wait, is not that Soo-ah's school? When he realized it was his sister's high school, where the gate had appeared, he vanished in a blur. With a loud boom, dust billowed from the supermarket. Kwon Soo-ah was running downstairs with her classmates. She accidentally noticed that hunters had already arrived, but they were not moving. The tall man leading them just stood there. He crossed his arms and spoke calmly. "Wait a little longer. The dungeon is about to be activated." His target was a boss-level monster. His lackey was about to say they could not handle it, but was immediately shut down by the boss. The gate emitted a massive shockwave with a thunderous boom. It has already been activated. They immediately leapt down from the hilltop. Meanwhile, monsters had already appeared inside the school. Many people had already been victimized. Kwon Soo-ah was hiding in a small room, but a werewolf managed to sniff her out. The werewolf slammed against the door. A large gap was torn open at the top. It thrust its head inside. Kwon Soo-ah stood there, paralyzed with fear. Fortunately, her classmate opened another door and called her over. By now, many people had already fled to the school grounds. 2 students volunteered to lead the way out. But at the corner, they came face to face with a werewolf. A moment later, the werewolf appeared from behind the wall, dragging one of them along. Everyone was scared out of their wits. That is when those 4 hunters finally made their grand entrance, especially their captain, who was striking a heroic pose. He barked an order. A subordinate rushed forward and sliced the werewolf in half. After taking down a werewolf, the captain said with a fake sense of bravado, "Hold them back. Don't let them get near the kids." The 2 female team members also unleashed their skills, wiping out some of the lesser werewolves. The crowd, kept in the dark, looked at them with total adoration. Only Kwon Soo-ah knew the truth. These hunters did not come to save them right away. They just watched. Just now, the 4 hunters finished off the surrounding werewolves. The crowd was still cheering for them. Only Kwon Jin-Soo sensed that something was fishy. The lead teacher was confused because there was still no phone signal. The hunter captain told them, to get out, they had to defeat the werewolf chieftain. He then tricked everyone into following him to find it. As the teacher was about to lead the students after them, Kwon Jin-Soo grabbed his sleeve. She whispered, "We can't go in with them. I saw it earlier. Those people could have saved us, but they just stood there and did nothing." The others blamed Kwon Jin-Soo for talking nonsense. The lead hunter even wanted to come over and teach her a lesson. Just then, his subordinate warned that a pack of werewolves had appeared. He turned his head. A horde of werewolves was charging toward them. Suddenly, Kwon Jin-Soo collapsed to the ground. Blue veins began to bulge on her face. The hunter captain immediately noticed something was wrong. Soo-ah's classmate said her mana eruption was flaring up. He told the teacher to quickly get the medicine from the bag. The teacher had just found the medicine, but the hunter captain ordered his subordinate, "Go snatch that medicine. With this, we won't have to bother hunting the werewolf chieftain." His subordinate hesitated, so he shoved him forward. Outside the school, staff members were trying to maintain order. Kwon Jin-Soo was among the crowd. He crouched down, gathering his strength, then turned into a streak of blue light and dashed inside. Back with Kwon Jin-Soo. The teacher's arm was slashed while trying to protect the medicine, but they still managed to steal it. The crowd finally realized something was very wrong. The hunter captain stopped hiding his true colors. He ordered his team to seize the teacher and students. One member used binding magic, trapping several people on the spot with purple ropes. Kwon Jin-Soo's condition was getting worse by the second. Suddenly, the school shook violently as a teleportation occurred. The gate emits an intense blinding light. A massive werewolf leader leaps out from within. Several hunters are already lurking nearby. The hunter captain watches the werewolf leader with anticipation. Hurry up and devour Kwon Jin-Soo already. In the world of Doomsday City, our protagonist is the feared and legendary Unknown. With over 5,000 consecutive victories, he stands undefeated. However, he has never engaged in a real-world battle until now. This is his first time facing true combat outside the game. Now his sister, Kwon Jin-Soo, is being used as live bait by 4 pieces of trash, all to lure the werewolf leader into their trap. Just as the hunter captain finds the perfect opening and prepares to make his move, a streak of blue light whistles through the air. It strikes the back of the werewolf leader's head with lethal precision. The werewolf leader lets out a pained howl. Blood splatters everywhere. Kwon Jin-Soo suddenly appears a short distance away. Weapon in hand, he charges straight at the werewolf leader. In a flash, he is behind the beast and sticks a perfect landing. The werewolf leader sustains a devastating blow. It crashes to its knees. Watching from afar, the hunter captain cries out in shock. Who the hell is this guy? He immediately barks orders at his subordinates. Was an elite sent here by another department? The subordinate replies that there was no such notice. Kwon Jin-Soo glares at the werewolf leader. With a powerful step, he leaps in front of the beast. He delivers a crushing strike directly to its skull. The werewolf leader's roars gradually fade to a whimper. Even before the monster hits the ground, Kwon Jin-Soo rushes to Soo-ah's side. "Brother." The teacher nearby explains what happened, about how those hunters used Soo-ah as bait. She tells Jin-Soo everything. Jin-Soo growls, "Get out here right now." 2 male hunters slowly approach. They confront Jin-Soo, asking if he is a guild hunter, trying to steal their kill. Jin-Soo ignores the question. "Is the medicine in your hand? I asked you a question first." Jin-Soo's expression turns cold and stern. A bunch of self-proclaimed hunters, watching people die and using them as bait. "You are worse than scum." The subordinate holds the hunter captain back, telling him not to be reckless. They need to verify his identity first. Killing a guild hunter is a serious matter. Even for the first group, it would cause too much trouble. The hunter captain pulls out the medicine. Jin-Soo stands up. "I will make you pay for this. Until you are crying and begging for mercy." The captain smugly asks Jin-Soo again which guild he belongs to. Ignoring him, Jin-Soo lunges forward, leaving a trail of afterimages behind him. So fast, stone skin skill. The captain's arms are instantly covered in a thick layer of rock. Hard as stone. "Bring it on, kid." This middle-aged man is arrogant because he is the illegitimate son of the first group's chairman. To think he dared to use the protagonist's sister as bait, just to attract a monster. Right now, he has no idea what kind of monster he has truly provoked. He activates his stone skin skill to the max, searching for any sign of Jin-Soo's movement. Spotting him, he throws a heavy punch, aiming straight for Jin-Soo's face. Jin-Soo does not even flinch. He activates his skill, causality-reversal. The fist seems to strike his face. But then, as if time is rewinding, he shifts back a short distance. He immediately crouches and slashes at the captain's waist. Just as the captain is about to explode in rage, Jin-Soo forcefully unsheaths his blade. His subordinates tried to rush over to help. Kwon Jin-Soo lunged forward, locking the hunter captain in a chokehold. Take another step and I will make sure his head leaves his shoulders. His men had no choice but to freeze in their tracks, wondering just who this guy was. How could he subdue a B-rank captain so effortlessly? The captain tried to struggle, but Jin-Soo pressed a blade against his throat, sending him into a cold sweat of pure terror. He opened his mouth to speak, but Jin-Soo tightened the grip until his eyes rolled back. He collapsed weakly to his knees. Before he could even process what was happening, Jin-Soo delivered a brutal backhand to his face, sending him sprawling across the ground. He then planted a boot firmly on the man's chest. You scumbag, using humans as bait. Just let me go. If you let me go now, the first group will make it worth your while. Kwon Jin-Soo began searching for Soo-Ah's medicine, stating expressionlessly, "It seems you are not just some random thug. You are the silver spoon type." He then sliced through the ropes binding Soo-Ah's classmate from a distance, and tossed the medicine bottle to him. "Quick, give Soo-Ah the medicine." Once Soo-Ah took the medicine, the bulging veins on her skin slowly receded. Then Kwon Jin-Soo threw a knife directly to Soo-Ah's classmate, ordering him to use it to free the other students. The sudden action gave the girl a real fright. Jin-Soo grabbed the hunter captain by the hair with force, and said coldly, "Your little plan is dead in the water. You pampered piece of trash." This man named Jang Woo-hyuk actually dared to target the protagonist's sister. Now, not only has he been crippled by Jin-Soo, but he is also being ground into the dirt under his heel. Jin-Soo slapped the arrogance right off his face as he tried to bluster. Jang Woo-hyuk managed to scramble up into a crouch, still trying to talk big to our hero. "You think you have won? Today is the day you die. You talk too much for a dead man." Suddenly, a series of ominous groans echoed from above. Even Kwon Jin-Soo looked slightly concerned. Jang Woo-hyuk suddenly barked at his men to destroy the energy core. "Bae Dong-young, do it now." The subordinate named Bae Dong-young dashed toward the werewolf leader's corpse in a flash. As the body began to dissipate, a glowing red bead appeared within it. Without hesitation, Bae Dong-young struck the bead with all his might. Seeing this, Jin-Soo shouted for the students to get out of there. Jang Woo-hyuk wore the smug grin of a petty villain. "It is too late for you to escape before the barrier collapses. Ha ha ha. You are going to die right here with us." As the energy core began to shatter, the surrounding space accelerated its collapse. Everyone fled in a blind panic. Soo-Ah looked back and saw Jin-Soo still standing there. "Brother, what are you doing? Run for the exit." Jang Woo-hyuk stood up unhurriedly. Seeing Jin-Soo running away, he roared, "You can't escape. Every last one of you can go to hell." He then gathered his team members around him and pulled a scroll from his bag. Clearly, he had a trump card up his sleeve. "Return." He was still grumbling about having to retreat like a coward, when a shadow suddenly flickered behind him. Jang Woo-hyuk's face twisted into an expression of pure frustration. Standing before him, Jin-Soo said calmly, "So, this is a return scroll." Jang Woo-hyuk, he froze in place, looking like he would seen a ghost. Once he snapped out of it, he screamed, "Kill him." Bae Dong-young was still grumbling and nagging him. Even with several people attacking Jin-Soo at once, they could not gain the upper hand. "I will be taking this now. The rest of you can just rot here." Jang Woo-hyuk and his cronies realized escape was hopeless. They could only collapse onto the ground in despair. "Damn it, no. This can't be happening." Recruitment specialist I.M. Da-yeon. She saw the dungeon was currently collapsing, and communication with Jang Woo-hyuk's party of 4 had been lost. She exclaimed in utter disbelief. "The attack team we dispatched was actually wiped out." VAA. Meanwhile, I.M. Da-yeon from the Hunter branch was currently investigating the school. She was looking for survivors of the gate incident. She discovered a mysterious person had infiltrated the barrier during that time. Judging by his movement and technique, she knew his strength was no joke. She hurriedly tried to identify the person. If she did not act fast, the first group would stop at nothing to find the cause of Jang Woo-hyuk's death. They would use any means necessary. The identity of the Guardian reminded her of Kwon Soo-Ah's brother, Kwon Jin-Soo. Inside the first group, 3 men in black suits were trembling with fear, because one person had already been beaten to a bloody pulp. The one doing the beating was the chairman of the first group, Jang Jae-myung. He was also the father of Jang Woo-hyuk. Just as he was about to strike again, someone stopped him. The newcomer was his eldest son, Jang Jae-hyuk. Jang Jae-hyuk ordered the others to leave the room. "Are you saying that person's strength is even greater than Bae Dong-young's?" Jang Jae-hyuk stated. "I can't fully gauge his level just from the footage, but he is definitely more dangerous than Bae Dong-young. However, looking at his gear, he looks like a total hobo. I am sure I can take him out easily. Just leave this matter to me. I.M. Da-Yeon was now urgently trying to contact Kwon Jin-Soo. Once the call connected, I.M. Da-Yeon introduced herself. She revealed that she had investigated him, this hardcore gaming addict, who pulled all-nighters just to play battle royale games, and surprisingly managed a winning streak of over 5,000 matches. And that battle royale game was actually designed as a simulation of the real world. Its purpose was to train awakened ones to fight the monsters invading the human world. Now, the gaming addict, Kwon Jin-Soo, was raiding a real-life dungeon for the first time. Various firearms were laid out before him, but he only chose his favorites: a dagger and 2 handguns. Seeing this, the captain did not say much. He just felt that this loadout looked somewhat familiar. Along the way, Jin-Soo asked the captain about the current state of F-rank dungeons. Low pay and even worse gear, that was the reality. The two chatted casually as they walked. They only went quiet once they entered the dungeon. At that moment, a system window popped up. You have entered the red armored orc territory. Dungeon tutorial quest initiated. Jin-Soo looked at the serious-looking captain. He confirmed that he was the only one who could see these windows. The captain suddenly came to a halt. Something's wrong. There are way too many orcs. Newbie Jin-Soo acted puzzled. Isn't that a good thing? More loot. The captain explained that the numbers were excessive. There must be an anomaly. Then both of them cautiously moved deeper inside. The squad members, who had entered earlier, were now locked in a desperate struggle. An endless wave of orcs kept charging at them. Many were already injured or trapped. But more importantly, deep within the cave, an orc sitting on a high stone throne actually spoke the human tongue. Kill them all. Hearing the command, the orcs charged at the humans even more manically. The squad was on the verge of being overrun. Behind them, a pillar of flame slowly rose into the air. Get out of the way. The crimson flames lit up the night. A girl unleashed a powerful burst of fire magic. The orcs screamed in absolute agony. Then they retreated deep into the shadows of the cave. That is when Kwon Jin-Soo and the others finally caught up. They learned the grim truth from the girl. A new anomaly had appeared within the dungeon. A gate had opened, claiming many lives already. The rest of the squad had been scattered in the chaos. The red-haired girl swayed on the verge of collapsing. Luckily, Jin-Soo caught her just in time. Captain Lee Sang-woo looked troubled, but he could not just abandon the others, especially since the girls he cared about were still inside. The red-haired girl said she would already called for backup. Support should be arriving shortly, but the captain knew that if they waited for backup, the survivors would be long gone stone cold. After finding out their location, he turned to the group for help. Everyone remained silent, eyes averted. It was clear they were paralyzed by fear. Some even tried to convince the captain that if he wanted to live, he should just cut his losses and leave with them. They were facing a pack of giant armored goblins. These monsters were lurking in a supposedly cleared dungeon, waiting for low-level players to come in for scraps, just so they could go on a killing spree. But their feast was cut short by a total wipeout, because Kwon Jin-Soo, the man with the cheat codes, was on a mission, and he had just entered this very dungeon. Jin-Soo had been visiting his sister at the hospital, so he arrived a few minutes late. The low-level hunters who went in first had already suffered heavy losses. No one was willing to go back in with the captain to save the rest. Even the girl in Jin-Soo's arms could not resist his damn charm. As people left, the captain thought Jin-Soo was just a rookie. Thinking he would be useless, the captain told him to leave too. Jin-Soo simply gave a faint smirk. He did not expect the captain to be such a man of honor. Then right before the captain's shocked eyes, Jin-Soo charged in. He pulled off a mid-air dash, bursting through the ring of fire, leaving the captain standing there, completely stunned. On the other side, Jin-Soo descended slowly from the air. The orcs just stood there, staring like idiots. They had no idea that the Grim Reaper himself had just arrived. While airborne, Jin-Soo switched his handguns to rapid-fire mode. The orc's thick armor might as well have been made of paper. Every bullet found its mark in flesh. The moment Jin-Soo touched the ground, he was met by countless glowing eyes in the dark. Enraged by their fallen comrades, the orcs lunged at him. Instead of retreating, Jin-Soo charged, using them as stepping stones. Everywhere he moved, monsters fell like dominoes. He emptied clip after clip with surgical precision. Before long, a mountain of orc corpses piled up at his feet. A massive heap of monsters lay defeated beneath him. In no time, he was standing atop a hill of fallen orcs. That is when the captain finally caught up, fashionably late. Seeing the trail of dead orcs along the way, he could not help but break into a cold sweat. But the pile at Jin-Soo's feet was on a whole different level. Jin-Soo noted that the area was not fully cleared yet. Seeing the slaughter, the orc leader took action. He ordered his subordinates to launch their ranged weapons. A barrage of steel whistled through the air toward Jin-Soo. Suddenly, Jin-Soo moved like a blur, as if he had 1,000 hands. He deflected every single projectile right back at them. The orc leader screamed for them to stop, fuming with rage. Now, they were all too terrified to step forward. Jin-Soo did not even bother with them. He focused on searching for any survivors. It did not not take long for him to find someone. It was the short-haired girl who had been carrying the sniper rifle. That girl managed to land a desperate headshot on an orc right in front of her. This man had won over 5,000 battle royale matches, yet he could not even afford a single pumpkin in real life. To earn enough for his sister's medical bills, he had no choice but to sell his services to the Hunter Association. And now Kwon Jin-Soo has been appraised as a AA rank. I entered this F rank dungeon just to finish a quest. I thought it would be just another boring run. I did not expect a double dungeon to trigger inside. The other team members have already bailed. Kwon Jin-Soo charges in alone to rescue the survivors. To Jin-Soo, these countless orcs are barely enough for a warm-up. Meanwhile, a short-haired girl is bickering with a buzzcut guy. The two were doing fine holding off the orcs at first, but the buzzcut guy got cold feet, suddenly dropped his shield, and lunged toward the girl, trying to cop a feel even when death is at the door. What a creep. He has distracted her so much she can't even aim her shots. Luckily, Jin-Soo arrives just in the nick of time. He gets right in the orc's face. Then he pumps a few rounds into the orcs in front of him. The orcs ahead all collapse to the ground. The girl watches in awe. She can't believe Jin-Soo wiped out that many orcs all by himself. It is almost too much to process. She mentions they have injured people, making it hard to break out. Jin-Soo tosses aside his empty dual pistols. He asks the short-haired girl for a few daggers. Then he performs a little magic trick for her. Wow, the daggers are actually glowing. How beautiful. Jin-Soo tells them he will clear a path. He then manipulates the daggers to weave through the orc horde. The orcs can't even track the trajectory of the blades. They are just sitting ducks waiting to be skewered. The remaining orcs are also handled by Jin-Soo, as he effortlessly takes their heads. Even the orc chief sitting on his throne is losing his cool. Damn human. I will kill you. He hurls an axe straight at Jin-Soo. Jin-Soo does not even blink. He fires off a blade. It shatters the orc chief's attack instantly. He throws another sword. It flies toward the orc chief at breakneck speed. All that is heard is a wretched scream. The other two ask if he has finished him off. Jin-Soo says not yet, because that armor of his is surprisingly thick. But a second later, it is blown to smithereens. Stripped of his gear, the orc chief orders his subordinates to prepare for battle. The other two grow timid, seeing the orcs' surging morale. Jin-Soo just tells them to stand back. He will handle these orcs himself. This dim-witted orc chief is frantic after being stripped bare. He bashfully orders his men to go grab Jin-Soo's clothes. Unfortunately, they are all smacked down by Jin-Soo in an instant. Jin-Soo clears over 10 meters in a single leap. He looks down upon the orc chief from above. The chief hurls a spear at Jin-Soo. Thinking Jin-Soo can't move mid-air, the chief is stunned when he vanishes. In the next blink, he is clinging to the orc chief's back. The dagger in his hand plunges into the chief's chest. If one strike is not enough, he follows up with another, until the beast finally goes down. The other small fries see this and flee in a panic. 3 pink crystals begin to glow on the fallen orc chief's body. The system notification pops up. Orc Chief successfully slain. Obtained 1x Orc Chief's helmet. Obtained 3x low-grade crystals. F-rank dungeon quest complete. Reward 80 points. Obtained 1x soul. The captain arrives just in time to witness Jin-Soo taking down the chief. He wonders who on earth this guy is. Even an A-rank hunter could not pull off a feat like that. Before he can think more, Jin-Soo is already by his side. He says the orcs are dealt with and they can leave the dungeon. Meanwhile, a man with a massive build, clutching a greatsword, stands outside the cave entrance. He is Park Sang-hyuk, one of only 5 S-rank hunters in the country. Ranked 4th overall, a woman nearby detects life forms exiting the dungeon. The two are in disbelief that anyone actually made it out alive. Park Sang-hyuk lets out a meaningful smirk. Before long, Jin-Soo and the others emerge to the gasps of the crowd. The hunters who retreated earlier hang their heads in shame, too afraid to speak. Only the red-haired girl, after a moment of inner conflict, musters the courage to apologize to the captain. The captain tells her it is okay. Everyone is just trying to survive. He then comforted them, telling them not to take it to heart. Beside them, Park Sang-hyuk was losing his patience. That is enough. How on earth did you people stay alive? The captain explained that Kwon Jin-Soo had saved them. He added that it was Jin-Soo's first hunt, so Sang-hyuk probably would not recognize him. Park Sang-hyuk looked even more bewildered. What? He saved you from that many orcs on his very first hunt. The crowd began to speculate about Kwon Jin-Soo's class. Park Sang-hyuk snapped his fingers to silence the crowd. This also caught Kwon Jin-Soo's attention. Hey brat. Is what he is saying true? Seeing his arrogant attitude, Jin-Soo was reminded of Jang Woo-hyuk, the one who hurt his sister. He simply stared back at him coldly. Seeing him remain silent, Park Sang-hyuk prepared to use force. I have plenty of ways to make you talk. As soon as he spoke, he released the overwhelming pressure of an S-rank hunter. A blue aura began to swirl around the area. He slowly closed in on Kwon Jin-Soo. The low-level hunters nearby scrambled to escape. Those who could not get away fell to their knees, groaning in pain. Suddenly, a cold flash of light streaked past his bewildered face. Kwon Jin-Soo had made his move. The king of the game world versus A real-life S-rank hunter, the showdown was imminent. Kwon Jin-Soo had just cleared the dungeon only to find someone acting like a big shot outside. He delivered a powerful strike toward him. Park Sang-hyuk realized that Jin-Soo's casual strike carried immense power. He took an interest in Kwon Jin-Soo. He brought up his guild, the Shameless Ones. With a grin, he invited Kwon Jin-Soo to join them. However, a threatening tone lingered behind every word. Kwon Jin-Soo rejected him flat out. As one of Korea's 5 S-rank hunters, Park Sang-hyuk had never been so insulted. He immediately flared his aura and swung his blade at Kwon Jin-Soo. Though Kwon Jin-Soo managed to raise a shield, he was still ensnared by the blue vortex. After shaking it off, he realized the weapon in his opponent's hand was no ordinary blade. Park Sang-hyuk offered one last olive branch. Kwon Jin-Soo remained expressionless. I never work with people I despise. After his observation skill failed, Kwon Jin-Soo summoned Ipu. His skill level was insufficient, so he summoned Ipu after the observation failed. Kwon Jin-Soo summoned Ipu to assist him. A mass resembling venom appeared, slowly transforming into a soot ball with a mouth. As soon as Ipu emerged and saw the situation, it sensed trouble. It warned Kwon Jin-Soo to dodge the incoming attack before using the lucky dice. The warning had barely left its mouth when Park Sang-hyuk's attack arrived. Kwon Jin-Soo had no choice but to use his dagger to block. He immediately discovered that his skill, causality reversal, had failed. Without time to think, he struggled to block another strike. Seeing his attacks fail twice, Park Sang-hyuk leaped into the air to charge up. Let us see you block this. He slammed down toward Kwon Jin-Soo with sparks and lightning. A massive explosion followed. The spectators watched with wide eyes. To their shock, Kwon Jin-Soo had blocked that heavy blow with just a dagger. Kwon Jin-Soo recognized that the sword was a legacy relic. Legacy relics are equipment that cannot be measured by level or stats. They are also known as relic gear. Knowing it was dangerous, Kwon Jin-Soo immediately pulled back to create distance. Park Sang-hyuk boasted that his precious blade was the dragon blood sword, Valmung. Seeing him charging up again, Jin-Soo prepared to draw a skill from the system. He saw the panel. Even common skills required 100 points. But he only had 80 points left. Left with no choice, he had to opt for 4 random skill draws. The first skill, make tomorrow's weather clear. The second skill, attacks deal 5,000 volts of electricity. Clearly, these 2 skills were useless in his current situation. How will Kwon Jin-Soo handle what comes next? This man was a legend in the game world. But no one knew his true strength in reality. Just a moment ago, our protagonist, Kwon Jin-Soo, was standing before the machine, testing his hunter rank. With a low hum, the top name on the leaderboard was no longer Baek Jin-Hoo. Everyone gasped in disbelief. Even Baek Jin-Hoo stared at the screen in shock. Every organization began a frantic search, desperate to find information on the new number 1. They were terrified someone else might snatch him up first. However, the information had already been locked down by the official. Baek Jin-Hoo suspected that he had already signed with someone else. Regardless, he reported the situation to his superiors. Inside an office, I.M. Da-yeon looks over the documents. She sees that Kwon Jin-Soo's hunter test results mark him as a rank A unbound. She can no longer maintain her composure. She stares blankly while stirring her coffee. She is worried that someone like Kwon Jin-Soo might be headhunted by another organization. Just as she tries to steal a glance at him, Jin-Soo speaks up, asking, "Is the coffee ready yet?" His voice gives I.M. Da-yeon quite a start. She quickly composes herself and asks, "Mr. Kwon, does our previous agreement regarding the contract still stand?" Kwon Jin-Soo asks calmly, "What exactly do you mean by that? Are you implying that I might still back out?" I.M. Da-yeon is taken aback. With a reluctant look, she says, "Of course not. We fully respect your wishes." Kwon Jin-Soo gives a satisfied smirk. He then tells I.M. Da-yeon, "If I join a guild, I will have no free time left. So, I have decided to join the hunter branch instead." I.M. Da-yeon stands up in excitement. She grabs Kwon Jin-Soo's hand with a death grip. Jin-Soo has spent his life cooped up in games. When has he ever had such close contact with a girl? He immediately becomes overwhelmed with embarrassment. A short while later, she returns with a white capsule. "Let us finalize the contract, shall we?" Seeing Kwon Jin-Soo's confusion, I.M. Da-yeon explains, "This is a specialized biochip for hunters. Once swallowed, it integrates all of your body's vital stats. Then it syncs the data directly to your phone. It can record your hunter rank and all sorts of related information. It acts as an ID and can even translate various foreign languages." For some reason, he had never been able to have a chip implanted before. After Kwon Jin-Soo swallows the chip, he is about to check his phone for confirmation, when a system panel suddenly appears right in front of him. He thinks, "Wait, was not this supposed to be sent to my phone?" I.M. Da-yeon sees him acting strangely in front of her. She can't help but ask, "Are there mosquitoes in here? I could not have given him the wrong pill, could I?" Kwon Jin-Soo thinks, "Could it be that I am the only one who can see this? This means that this choice is incredibly important." Just by taking a single capsule, this man has unlocked his ultimate golden finger cheat. He even hesitates for a moment before choosing to continue. As he looks at the panel, he discovers that he actually has 4 inherent abilities. Most other people only ever have 1, even though 2 of them are not yet activated. Simply put, it is absolutely op. After dismissing the system panel, Kwon Jin-Soo asks I.M. Da-Yin for the phone. He wants to take a look at his own information. He realizes that the data shown on the phone is incomplete. He thinks to himself, it seems the system only wants me to know the truth about me awakening as an unbound. I.M. Da-Yin checks the phone and offers her congratulations. Congratulations, you are now officially a hunter. Then she pulls out the contract. Kwon Jin-Soo takes a look at it. The moment he finishes signing, I.M. Da-Yin snatches it away. She is terrified that he might change his mind. I.M. Da-Yin suggests that Kwon Jin-Soo should head to a low-level dungeon first, to gain some experience. After Kwon Jin-Soo leaves, a huge weight is finally lifted from I.M. Da-Yin's heart. She impatiently goes to report her results to the branch manager. Just as she reaches the doorway, she senses a powerful aura coming from inside. Is it possible someone is here to steal Mr. Jin-Soo away? Before she can think further, someone inside comes out and grabs her briefcase. It is a ferocious-looking blonde man. Terrified, she quickly pulls it back to protect it. The blonde man impatiently tells her to get lost. I.M. Da-Yin wants to snap back at him, but she is stopped by the branch manager inside. Before the blonde man leaves, he gives I.M. Da-Yin a vicious glare. The branch manager tells her that the blonde man is from Europe. He came to demand certain assistance from the Korean branch. I.M. Da-Yin wanted to ask more questions, but the branch manager simply said it was none of her business. He then proceeded to ask about Kwon Jin-Soo. I.M. Da-Yin pulled out the contract and said proudly, "We have already signed the contract." Oh, she received a shower of praise from the branch manager. So, after Jin-Soo left, he headed straight to a nearby training facility. He was ready to test his innate abilities. The man swallowed the capsule to activate his cheat code ability, but he did not expect it to be a black soot ball with flaming red lips. Just a moment ago, after Kwon Jin-Soo said goodbye to he went to the training center alone. Night. Seeing the receptionist dozing off, he felt a bit bad but woke him up anyway. The receptionist yelped in surprise. "Manager, I was not sleeping." He only snapped out of it after seeing who it was. He sized up Jin-Soo's outfit with a judgmental look. He said coldly, "The common room for hunters is $55 an hour. Give me your hunter license." Jin-Soo slammed several bills onto the desk with authority. "Give me a private room, the $2,600 one." The receptionist thought to himself, is he using cash just to flex on me right now? Until he saw Kwon Jin-Soo's hunter profile. It was the highest rank AA. He instantly switched to a sycophantic cutie mode. "Oh, are you Mr. Kwon Jin-Soo from the hunter branch?" Kwon Jin-Soo gave a curt nod and asked for his room number. Then he walked away without giving him a second glance. Once inside the training room, Jin-Soo marveled at how spectacular it was. No wonder it cost an arm and a leg. Jin-Soo walked up to the console. He set the opponents to 30 rank F goblins. After all, he was only here to test his skills. As he pressed the confirm button, as the activation sequence began, the lights on the ceiling flared to life. One by one, the goblins began to materialize. Holographic simulation goblins, difficulty rank F. Skill, poison needle fire. Jin-Soo chose his 2 standard daggers. He blocked the poison needles spat by the goblins, and charged straight at them. The poison needles could not even graze him. He dove into the goblin pack and went on a total killing spree ///. After wiping them out, he checked his time, 1 minute and 50 seconds. Next, it was time to test his innate ability. He immediately activated Lucky Dice. With a thunderous boom, a rift tore open in the air above, but what emerged was a giant hourglass. Without a word, it came crashing down toward Jin-Soo. Jin-Soo dodged it with a backflip. What on earth is this? Is it a monster? Suddenly, a black ball with nothing but a pair of flaming red lips popped out of nowhere, calling me a monster. How heartbreaking. I am your innate ability. And more importantly, before it could finish, it transformed into jet black tentacles, coiling tightly around Jin-Soo. While Jin-Soo was using his innate ability, a black ball with a mouth appeared. A black orb with a mouth had manifested, and now, he was being held fast by the tentacles it had transformed into. However, it was not actually trying to hurt Jin-Soo. One end of it turned into an arrow, pointing at the hourglass. It told Jin-Soo that once the hourglass finished, it would no longer be able to maintain its physical form. It wanted Jin-Soo to stop wasting time, and listen carefully to the skill skills introduction. But Jin-Soo never plays by the rules. The hourglass is huge. Surely there is plenty of time, right? He then proceeded to tease it with a few more words. Let me explain. You can spend points on the lucky dice. It randomly draws one ability from all your inherent skills. If you want to pull a high-tier ability, it will cost a significant amount of points, and points are earned by completing the missions it assigns to you. The difficulty level determines how many points you receive. Immediately, the system panel appeared. The first mission, clear an F-rank dungeon within 24 hours. Finally, the little sootball spoke. Call me if you need anything in the future. My name is Ipu. Elsewhere, several trucks were parked in front of a tall building. Sitting inside one of the vehicles was Jang Woo-hyuk, the eldest son of the first group's chairman. He was plotting something with a group of armed forces. Loud noises and vibrations were coming from the truck. It seemed like some kind of living creature was trapped inside. Jang Woo-hyuk got out and gave the order. The strike team hidden in the trucks stormed into the building. A few orderlies were still chatting away idly, but they were quickly restrained by the armed personnel. Jang Woo-hyuk walked in, wielding a blade. He threatened one of the orderlies. If you want to keep your life, hand over all the records on the survivors from the high school gate incident a few days ago. The nurse had no choice but to comply. She trembled as she searched for the information on the computer. Once she found it, Jang Woo-hyuk shoved her aside. You can beat it now. Then he stepped forward to check the data. He looked quite frustrated. Damn it, Kwon Jin-Soo was already transferred last night to the Hunter branch. This guy is a real piece of work. To cover his tracks, he is actually going to feed the nurse to a monster. Jang Woo-hyuk's face was dark with rage, because he just saw that his target had already been moved from the hospital. He wanted to vent his anger on the nurse nearby, but then he reconsidered. She might still be useful later. He gave a hand signal to the team leader. The leader received it and spoke into the radio. Open it up. Once the shipping container was opened, a monster resembling a giant toad slowly crawled out. It shot out a tongue several meters long, whipping past the armed men, straight toward the orderly. Before he could even react, his head was engulfed. He was yanked into the air, screaming for his life, before being swallowed whole in one bite. No one in the entire building was spared. Jang Woo-hyuk, acting as if nothing happened, ordered the retreat. The next day, Kwon Jin-Soo saw the news reports. His sister's former hospital was attacked by a C-rank monster. Kwon Jin-Soo was filled with burning rage. Those bastards actually dared to target a hospital. Thank goodness I moved Soo-ah out in time. I really want to take them out right now, for the sake of everyone, but I can't afford to be reckless. I need to increase my strength even more. Then Kwon Jin-Soo pulled out his phone. He accessed the Hunter app that I am Da Yian mentioned. Sure enough, he found a suitable dungeon to enter. The Bukansan F-rank Orc dungeon. After Judgment Day, hundreds of thousands of them appeared. The orcs had built a fortress around the Bukansan area. They had established themselves as kings of the mountain. Not long after the hunters awakened, the counterattack began. Only a few orcs survived, hiding in the caves. After saying goodbye to Soo-ah, Jin-Soo set out. Arriving at Bukansan, he realized he was late. Fortunately, a middle-aged man on the hill recognized him. He called out to him. This person was the captain of their team, Lee Sang-woo. After confirming his identity, Kwon Jin-Soo introduced himself, saying it was his first dungeon, and that he had just become a hunter yesterday. Yes, I just became a hunter yesterday. I just started this yesterday. This is a dungeon, and besides, Kwon Jin-Soo only became a hunter yesterday. If you are worried, he can just back out. But Lee Sang-woo just grabbed his arm and interjected. This dungeon is meant for rookies to get some practice anyway. However, when we head in, do not take the lead. Leave the dangerous spots to us. Just then, a girl carrying a large sniper rifle walked over. She told Captain Lee Sang-woo that they were all ready to go. The captain introduced her as the team sniper, Yi Ah-young. Then he let the others go in first. He decided to take Jin-Soo along with him, to pick up some gear. Mr. Kwon, please follow me. They walked to the back of a van and popped the trunk. Various firearms immediately came into view. This is Jin-Soo's first time entering a dungeon. Will it be smooth sailing for him? This little sootball has a pair of bright red lips. It even named itself Ipu. As a cheat code system, it is pretty useless at everything except talking. The kid really got screwed over by it this time. He originally thought having a system would make him invincible. He even felt confident enough to face an S-rank hunter's provocation. But spending a ton of points only got him a few crappy skills. He did not even have a decent weapon to use. Kwon Jin-Soo had to rely on a few small daggers to block the waves of attacks from the enemy's greatsword. Ultimately, he found himself at a disadvantage. Just as he was preparing for a final desperate struggle, a sudden gale howled around them, accompanied by lightning and thunder. That is enough, stop right there. Even someone as strong as Park Sang-hyuk nearly buckled under the pressure. But he immediately guessed who the newcomer was. Lee Yu-na, are you trying to stop me? Now, Kwon Jin-Soo could also clearly see the person who arrived. She had blonde hair and held a magic staff in her hand. Seeing that Park Sang-hyuk had no intention of backing down, she fired another spell, intending to suppress him. However, Park Sang-hyuk was not going to show any respect. He even threatened to take Lee Yu-na's head off. After saying that, he charged straight at her. But when he heard Lee Yu-na say she was there to deliver orders from the branch, his greatsword stopped dead in its tracks right in front of her. He also learned that in a month, unknown elements would attack the Dacian industrial zone. Park Sang-hyuk wanted to know more details. Unexpectedly, Lee Yu-na did not give him the time of day. She told him to go back and ask for himself. Hearing this, Park Sang-hyuk could only leave some parting threats for Kwon Jin-Soo before storming off. Kwon Jin-Soo only breathed a sigh of relief once he saw him leave. Meanwhile, Lee Yu-na walked over and started teasing him relentlessly. You are just a rookie, yet you dared to challenge Park Sang-hyuk. Have you lost your mind? Kwon Jin-Soo felt a wave of embarrassment upon hearing that. He had not expected the system to be such a letdown. Faced with Lee Yu-na's teasing, he, who had spent years immersed in the game world, was even less equipped to handle her. Lee Yu-na did not continue making fun of him. She raised her hand, summoned a business card and handed it to him. She told him to contact her if anything happened. She also mentioned that Da-yeon had asked her to look after him. Kwon Jin-Soo understood she was worried the first group would make a move against him. Lee Yu-na did not say much else. She waved goodbye and left in a hurry. The team leader nearby only dared to come over and greet Kwon Jin-Soo after the big shots had all left. He expressed his desire to work together with Kwon Jin-Soo from now on. Though he was not strong, he was a veteran who had been a hunter for 4 years. He knew quite a bit of inside information. Kwon Jin-Soo thought about it for a moment. He realized he did not know much about the current hunter situation in reality. So he agreed to the proposal. Then he mentioned he wanted to get his hands on some equipment. As expected, the leader knew exactly where to find some gear. They agreed to meet tomorrow, and then Kwon Jin-Soo headed out. As soon as he got downstairs, he saw the luxury car Da-yeon had given him. In the car, he reflected on his shortcomings in the recent battle. It all boiled down to his weapons being inadequate. Against an opponent with relic equipment, he was completely helpless. Ordinary weapons could not even withstand the aura he released at full power, let alone using them against an enemy. This reminded him of that expert he encountered years ago in the game Doomsday City. It brought back memories of the top-tier player he met in Doomsday City back in the day. Back then, that player could infuse aura into weapons, which allowed him to fight on equal terms with Jin-Soo. If they could meet again, he could ask for advice regarding weapons. He just did not know if he would ever run into him again.